from a year we kind of lost.
No doubt.
How has the city recovered and made steps towards getting back to normal this year?
I think probably obviously the COVID-19 seems like it's been going on forever, but the last 2 years have been tough on us all as a community, as local government, and we've had to make changes, and that's not good. I think I'm a sports guy, and I think that the word pivoted has been used. I asked somebody the other day, do you actually know what a pivot is? But obviously that's a word that's become very popular. Everybody pivoted, and so we did the same thing, and we had to first of all we had to react to the health aspects of the pandemic, and our guys did a good job in talking about the whole. Obviously, stay 6 feet apart and wash your hands and social distancing. And we put up a lot of pop-up events where we give out masks and sanitizers, and just I think a little partial, but I think we were somewhat a model of people, governments that stepped in and did the first parts of the pandemic, and that was great. And and after the pandemic, we had to worry about business license, businesses going out of business, and the struggle there, and the pandemic stopping. And so we did have to pivot and make some changes, make some allowances for business license, extending due dates, and trying to be responsible in that way. And so hopefully the light is flickering at the end of the tunnel. We came through fairly well. Our timing in regards to some economic development projects allowed us to basically incubate those projects, mainly one big one, throughout the 18-month, 2-month period. So hopefully I think the virus, the variants will be around, in my opinion. Just talking to some of the medical professionals around town, and but we hopefully will go forward and have a strong recovery.
Just talking about this, let's just do the economy stuff first. Talk about some of the big economic development moves in 2021 for the city.
Probably the biggest one was the hotel and parking garage, and we actually closed on the hotel the week of the shutdown, and we're sitting there signing papers on the closing of the financing of which ended up being a $10 million project, and we used some hospitality money, and so we borrowed the rest. And just that day, the banker said he just got a call from his boss and said that's probably the last deal of the year here, and we came within a hair of probably having a hotel, but not being able to do the parking garage simultaneously as the hotel. But as things worked out, we were able to start both of those projects, and as you know, a couple months ago to 2 months ago now, both projects are open. The hotel, I think, again, was a game changer. It's been very exciting to watch the reaction to it, to see people come in and use it. I think we've had a couple of Clemson home games since the opening of the hotel, and they've the people visiting have reacted very well to it. I understand that they sold out the hotel, I think, both of those weekends, and so it just puts more people downtown, and it's, and it allows us to grow, and it showed that we deserved a seat at the table in big economic development moves. And so I will continually thank some of the local guys that helped us get people, the Steve Kays and the John Glenns and you know, Jeff Waters, Ron Haskell, you know, those were local people who took their money and made a bet. And it's allowed us to now to have outside developers from other parts of not only the state, other parts of the country that are looking to invest in Anderson.
The parking garage, is the roof still in the works on what's going to be done up there? Is that
You know, it's still obviously it's built out for a restaurant, kitchen facilities. Let's say that it has a nice indoor setting. We intentionally, just because I think the timing was not right, doing the opening of the hotel, we didn't have a opening of the parking garage, and I think we would plan on doing that first quarter of this year. So it probably, you know, if you have been up there to see the views and so forth, it's a beautiful view. But to your point, I think we're actively, again, outside people are coming in and saying, hey, you know, we like the space. Most governments wouldn't have thought about a parking garage to have a rooftop venue. And so I understand, I have not had these conversations, that, you know, we've showed it to people and said, well, we've got to, I think it'll work, but we've got to get natural gas and water and plumbing and restaurants, and so we already got that. Okay, so, and I think people are developers and folks that are looking to occupy that space. So appreciate the fact that our council was foresighted enough to say, let's go ahead and do it, and at some point somebody take it. So hopefully, definitely, probably in 2022 we'll have a venue there. What it is, they'll just take advantage of the amenities up there.
You know, a lot of people are excited about that space.
Yeah, I am too.
What else has been going on downtown? Let's start with housing. How's the housing situation looking downtown?
Downtown is 100% occupied and has been for several years. You look at the spaces that are available for rent or purchase, and there's always a list. Obviously, one of the things that probably should happen first of the year is that the Palmetto Building, it's my understanding that they're actively leasing spaces right now, and I think their plans are to be open very soon, first quarter, hopefully the first month of the year. So again, what that does is it puts 31 units or so downtown, which helps everything else downtown, and so that's a big component. We think that that apartment complex has already showed the outside world that there are other possibilities for downtown living, whether that be condos or apartments, or there are a lot of things in the works and projects, and hopefully we can announce one very soon. But again, our community has not had not only our apartments downtown, we're 100% here, apartments all over the city are 100%. We hadn't had a major apartment complex built in years, and so there is some demand out there, and so hopefully that component of it, I think, will go forward in 2022. And residential housing is booming too. Though I want to say that we have, I think I'm right on this, Greg, but 2,000 units planned, and more to come, and the growth's happening all over the city, and especially told someone this the other day, I wish Miss Floyd was still alive, because she would be tickled that residential housing, new developments are happening in the southeast Anderson part, the district that she represents. So we have annexed some land on Broadway Lake Road and Belton Highway, townhomes, residential housing there. 29 South toward the Jockey Lot, I guess that would be north. 29 North, housing development also, and obviously in the Midway Road, 81 corridor is booming, and so and that market's been hot for a while, but it's expanding too. So we have our county has done a good job of attracting jobs, manufacturing jobs, and these folks have to have somewhere to live, and so and that's happening right now.
What else has been going on economically? Let's just start with downtown or anywhere in the city limits that in 2021 sort of begin to take root or is being planned.
As I came through downtown today, I passed the I don't know what we're calling it. We hadn't named it yet. We need to come up with a name, but but the Magnetic Brewery, Plaza, they've started renovation of the old, I'm gonna call it the Den, the restaurant, and I noticed that John Wright and his company are starting that demolition. We are narrowing the four-way street from Tribble through Calhoun, and so that we'll shrink that from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, parking on both sides, streetscapes, and we'll take that streetscape, we'll go toward Calhoun to McDuffie and finish that next to Electric City Brewery and get some infrastructure going there. But I think that's dynamic in the fact that we plan a lot, and that was part of Shock This Block, and some of these areas are part of, and I'm proud of that, it's part of what citizen participation say, what do you want Anderson to do? We need a downtown hotel, and quite frankly, we had already started working on that, even as they spoke, but and the Greenville Street corridor was another, and so you start planning and you have all these areas that you can show people, and so just pretty excited about that development. Magnetic South, I think it adds another venue, another park to our system, and obviously we just had the Christmas tree lighting, Christmas parade Friday and Sunday, and there were I've been doing this a long time, and so the Christmas tree lighting along with the opening of Holiday Ice at Carolina Wren Park, some of the things that we have going in partnership with the Market Theater and Scott Foster's book, but it was more of the continuation of the same vibe that you see over the last few years.
Well, that expanding down to Greenville Street really expands downtown, and it looks like, look at the future, if they get the Equinox Mills site cleaned up, city can expand even further out in that direction.
Part of the biggest thing, and that's a good point, downtown is just not Main Street. It's the east-west expansion of downtown. That's a good point with the Equinox Mills, and we have mill sites that need to be redeveloped, and so that ends up being to coin Greenville. It could be our West End. All of a sudden, you get Anchor, and you have things going not only north and south, but east and west. And so, and I think that'll happen naturally over the lifetime of our development in the city. Downtown is just not Main Street. I talk about this a lot. We actually have a hotel in downtown, and people say, where? So that's downtown. We have a downtown university. Where? AU, that's downtown. So we a lot of communities would um, die to have within blocks institutions like hospitals and universities within 5-6 blocks. And so I think the growth of what we've done infrastructure-wise will continue to pay its dividends when the private sector comes in and they kind of take root of doing things in regards to housing and hotels, retail, and that type of thing.
And you mentioned the tree lighting and the other. How has the social life of the city returned this year back in force here?
I think probably and we were very conservative. We were, as far as budgeting goes, and we pulled back revenues from business license and hospitality money, and property tax, and so and I think we came out better than what we thought. I think the pandemic it really hurt our mom and pop businesses, and being the owner of a small little insurance company, I get the idea of people that were blindsided by the pandemic, that suffered through the pandemic. But having said that, we have a very strong commercial quarter, and the big boxes did well. Obviously, if you own stock in Home Depot and Walmart and Sam's and Target and all of those places, Lowe's, they did well, and that allowed us to maybe survive the pandemic, maybe more so than some other cities who didn't have that commercial development. So it was helpful for us. So I think it is kind of interesting. We're in Christmas season, and there are events, and I think people are being careful still. But in vaccinations, or I understand at our hospital that even though there's the talk about shots, no shots, but I think more people are getting vaccinated. Our hospital employees are getting vaccinated, and I think hopefully people feel safer being out. My gut tells me people feel safer being out.
And the Main Street program returned this summer, and the Market Theater and Electric City Playhouse, some of the stuff's coming back that was missing from those elements too.
Yeah, you're right, and I just don't think going forward, knock on wood, that we'll have to shut down like we did before. We might have to pivot again, but I think everybody is feeling better about the aspects of moving forward.
Looking ahead to Q1 of 2022, hard to believe we're saying that. Is there anything on your radar, council's radar, that y'all are at least vision casting out first part of the year?
Yeah, we still have a lot of business activity going on that we hope to announce then. And even looking, I think we've had 17 new businesses open in the Central Business District in 2021, which is huge. I think there will be more of that going forward. I think part of it is we are, more than anything, a very attractive place to retire and relocate. The city just got announced last week. We got notified by AARP that we are one of the top 10 cities after the pandemic to retire, and I would say even relocate. And
I think it was live and retire.
Yeah, and it's it's always nice to be recognized on that stage, that national stage, and we're the smallest city. I mean, compared to Philadelphia. And somebody from Philadelphia said, "Why would anybody want to live in Philadelphia?" And I said, "Well, the thing that I think even in Philadelphia is that even though Philadelphia is a big city, they have done a very good job in neighborhoods and places where people can live. And the other thing that I think too is that from a retirement relocation, we check off a lot of boxes. We check off mild climate, low cost of living, a variety of housing opportunities, world-class health care. We happen to be in between the environments of two major universities with Anderson University and Clemson University, big-time sports, shopping amenities, and I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, we just so happen to be adjacent to the largest lake in the region with hundreds of miles of shorelines. And so we check off a lot of boxes when people are looking to relocate and retire, and for work opportunities, business opportunities. And I think the other thing to all of us is that we knew it. And it's good to be recognized that other people realize it too. So I think all of that momentum will carry into 2022. I think that between our city government and our county government and all our municipalities, I mean, can you believe Pendleton, Williamston, West Pelzer, Pelzer, all of these communities are part of what I call our region, Anderson County, but it's our region. And our region stretches into northeast Georgia and Pickens and Oconee County. I consider that our region, and we kind of sit right in the middle of it. And so I think the future is very bright for the whole region.